Hey gang, Sean here with Sean and Don Ventures. I know, Don's not here for the year-end review. And why is that? Well, first off, if we were both here, we'd both talk and reminisce so much about what we were doing, we would never get through this. So you got me. I'm going to do a little narrative overview of our entire year in review. I'll tell you how it's going to work. So I have about 10 to 20 seconds worth of video from each video I posted this year with the title on it. So if you're interested, like what it was that, maybe I want to go back and watch it, you'll see the title come across that. I'll give you a brief explanation to what it is, and we just keep on going as we do. And then at the very end of this video, we're going to go ahead and take some time, talk about our next year, what our plans are. First off, if you're wondering why do we do this, first off, if you don't know us, my wife Dawn and I, we got into doing this overland style or sharing our adventures just for pure enjoyment for us. We're not trying to make it rich or do anything like that. I'm not sponsored. I don't plan on being sponsored. I have a job. I just hope I can make some videos that make other people want to watch. If not, my wife and I always joke that, well, you know, if we ever lose our memory one day and we're not quite sure who we are or who you are, talking to the other person, you could always watch back our YouTube videos and remember our life together.
Project Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Henry.
Marlon. Doug.
Lucy.
Hi. Oh, those are cool flip-flops. Where'd you get them?
You like those? It's an interesting story. I was over in the North Door the other day.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Huh? Henry.
Hi. Marlon. Tom lost part of his brain in a hunting accident. His memory only lasts 10 seconds.
Jokingly, obviously, hopefully that never does occur. So if you're interested in stuff like that, if you're not subscribed to our channel, well, after this overview, you'll see what we're all about. But please consider liking, subscribing. Definitely hit in a comment for us. Doing this type of video, like compared to the cinematic stuff that we normally do, takes a lot of time, a lot of editing and cutting, and a lot of post-processing time to do here to lay this all in. So a comment would be great. Also, I'd also be interested to know, would you be interested in me taking one, I have all my drone images from the beginning of when I started droning until now, and doing like some sort of video highlight of what that might look like to some cool music. Not sure, I keep on kind of wanting to do that for myself, but more to come about that. So let's get into this. So I have my computer down below. I'm just going to start talking as you're seeing here. So we started off with the best mid-size Canopy camper. This is me selecting. So my truck went through a bunch of remodels this last year. You'll see a lot of videos about that. This was me picking the Alucab Canopy camper that we were going to use. The next video there, we are finishing up our trip at Whistler. I think this was a 4-part video. We did the zip lines at the end. It was a lot of fun in Whistler. We were actually taking the van down there to see, you know, how it would be in the wintertime. And actually, we just took it there recently. Finding the lost fire outlook. So now this is a really cool one for us. We've been looking for this fire outlook for like 3 or 4 years, how to gain access to it, because they had a washout and the main way you used to go was cut off. We finally found it. Beautiful drive up. We took the truck up with some friends and we were questioning, you know, could we do this in the van? You'll see in a little bit later, yes, we can do it in a van, and just stunning, 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 stunning. Oh, Lost in Solitude. So this, we recreate a lot out in the Pacific Northwest, specifically on the West Coast. This is out near Forks, which is pretty close to us on the Clahoya. Yeah, right, Clahoya. Am I saying it right, guys? I can't remember if I'm saying it right. River. I might be saying that wrong, but I don't think so. This is a spot that we love to go to a lot. Oh, so I also do a lot of product review, not sponsored again. So there's a lot of information about my truck build out. You'll see a couple different pricing ones. This is me talking about all the things that were on my truck and why I got them and what it cost me. Right around the holidays, we ventured out to Pacific Beach, and we happened to be there during a king tide. It was a family trip out there, so we kind of brought all the rigs, not quite sure what we would get into. But we did do a little bit of overlanding, but more like tree cutting. So my son and I were out there with his girlfriend Gretchen, and it was a great time. We also do a lot of different reviews based off our opinion. So we do have a van. This was a video where we talk about our top 5 mods in our van and why. Spoiler alert, we all agreed on the last one. We didn't even share the information on this, but we did agree on what our number one is. And it's one of those things that you never would think of. So once again, heading back to that fire outlook. This was just beautiful. So Dawn and I had the van out there. We stayed the night out here. We actually put the Starlink up and we got on that deck and we were able to watch, I think it was a Seahawks game, some sort of playoff game, football, sitting up there as the sun was setting. And on a clear day, you could see all the way from Lake Crescent, all of the Olympics, and all the way to the ocean. It's just beautiful. I do a lot of tinkering in the van. So this one, I did a little overview of how the hell do you get into your console. Believe it or not, these things they're a puzzle. Oh, these are some hard memories. So and fun. So I learned to snowboard last year. I started getting into winter sports. Dawn has been doing on all her life. Look, isn't she a little jokester there? And I was having a great time until I wasn't, when I was falling. I'm in love with it now. I have all the stuff. I think this is Crystal Mountain. Okay, moving on to Mule now. So we pick up the Canopy camper. I do an extensive overview with Dylan from Mule on the Canopy camper. I think this is one of my most viewed videos. There's a lot of people interested in that Canopy camper. Following up that video, I did a full breakdown of all the costs that it took, everything it cost to buy it, install it. I let you all know what we did, and a ton of reviews on that. Going back to that snowboarding here, surviving 40 below. So it's not 40 below here, but this was at White Pass, and when we got to there, we had 2 days where they closed the mountain, and it was minus 40 below with wind chill out there, and it was quite the adventure in the van. We had water in it. We're like, let's just see how it does. We had our friends out there, Roger and Rose, and Roger started to learn to snowboard. It was a great time. And look here, I'm starting to get better at this. I probably have, I don't know, 7 days on the mountain by that time, but you know, I already knew at that point I was gonna love it, and I've already been out this year and picked right up where we left off. We did a review for the van, so a lot of people getting into vans. I think people get into vans for a wrong reason. Vans are awesome if you know what to expect, and so Dawn and I kind of talk about van life for us, who we think fits for there. Then I take the Alucab out on a very quick break, and I just picked it up. We took it out to a campground out west, and boy, I got some haters on my comments because they're like, well, that's not really, you know, camping, and geez. And I was like, it's a break-in. I'm just literally taking it out for one night to sleep in it. You'll see later on, it's been adventured quite a bit, but we loved it. Love. Oh, so this was a trip out to the coast that we ended up heading out originally to go into the Clay Lock, but that was a bust. So then we went down to the Clearwater on the river and had a great time. And then we wound up on the Hoe, and this is the Hoe here. And let's just say this was the most challenging road I've been on in the van. I committed myself to a line before really walking the line, and boy, it was kind of interesting. You'll see I took the truck back here later, and you'll see what I think about it. So here are 1.5 changes I would make to the Alucab Canopy camper. There wasn't much. I love that setup. I was pretty researched on what I want. Now this is where I took the van. So Mike and I go out. Now we're going to start doing some pure tests. This is where the van was recently, that couple slides ago with our granddaughter. And okay, and the trucks and stuff, and the water crossing is nothing. It's really off-camber stuff that you don't see on the other side, and tight, deep, wet holes, which you'll have to go back and watch the video if you're interested in seeing that. Mike and I were also testing the limits of the Alucab in wet weather. Here we are back on that one river we showed you the van at before, but we're right out on a river bar, and it is beautiful. Actually, I go here quite a bit if I want to get away for a quick night. This is a good place to go. We went to Mount Hood Meadows, and we were kicked off in the middle of a blizzard. There's a long story behind this, but let's just say, boy, they really dropped the ball. And I think it was right around midnight. We're sleeping in the van, and we get a knock, and it's so bright right there because I have all my lights on going down, but it was sketchy. But we went right from blizzard to an amazing Washington coast, which we were commenting on because here we are at Mount Hood, and then the next week we're on the Washington coast and out near Pacific Beach area. We love this place. You can go out there and drive on the beach if it's open, and oftentimes we'll just sit here and we'll park on the beach. We'll open up our doors, as you'll see here at the very end, kind of just recreating, and then we'll pack up for the day. We'll head to a camping spot, you know, somewhere else. One of my friends, Mike, that you'll see in that other video, he's done an extensive build on his 4Runner. A lot of his work he did himself. We did a full walkthrough of everything he did. It was pretty awesome. Here he is taking that 4Runner out to the Wainuchi. The Wainuchi is on the south side of Olympic Mountains. This was a really awesome spot that we were at. We literally almost had to fight for it, not really, but it was a beautiful weekend. It was as picturesque as you can go. If you haven't been on the Wainuchi or at this particular spot, know that you're missing something. I mean, look at that, just beautiful. Then we take the Alucab. I tell you, we're going all over the place. We get over to Vancouver Island and Port Renfrew area. We are on our way to go see the big, giant, lonely Doug. Actually, we were over there doing a bunch of pre-scouting in the truck, but this is an old, ancient tree, and it is a true old growth. That's in the middle of nowhere. I tell a story about it in the video. It's really awesome. The next week, we were continuing on to these hidden waterfalls, which kind of look like Jurassic Park. It's the beaches on the island, and just like the amount of waterfalls you can get to is pretty spectacular. This one was really hard to find. It's kind of a funny story, us trying to get back there and figure out exactly where the waterfall was. Let's just say I got some burrs and bruises from maybe taking the wrong trails and walked in different slime. But this was part of the entire stay out on the island, and we were working our way back to Victoria to see other things. We went to Buckhorn Pass. So we started getting into backpacking a little bit more. So we've been doing overlanding in a vehicle. Now we're going to be doing overlanding on our feet a little bit more. And Buckhorn Pass was a beautiful hike that we did. We stayed the night up there and one night just to be closer to the trailhead. Here I am doing another review on the Alucab. This is 6 months. You know, what do I know? Lessons learned. I do have some really good lessons learned. So if you are into that Alucab setup, just small things that matter. Another thing, so I actually didn't post this video, but my buddy, he's a barefoot skier. It's my first time actually using a drone in a high-speed chasing, and it was really fun. Scary. I got the drone really close to the water on a couple here, but you can see the shots are just amazing, and it's given me a lot of confidence flying my drone in from this situation to a more controlled situation with the vehicle or something like that. But lots of fun there. Here we are. So we've now taken the van. We are going to go to the furthest place in Vancouver Island here, and so this is north of Port Campbell right now, where we're at. We stayed off at stopped off at this wonderful marina, but the marina was down like this, kind of a sketchy dirt road. But when you get down there, you realize, wow, it's beautiful. And I guess, you know, it really wasn't sketchy. It's technically a logging road, but just not where you're used to seeing something like that. Also on that trip, so we went to Cape Scott, and if you're not familiar, in that northern part of the island, like, you can get on a dirt road and stay on a dirt road. So this is about 40 kilometers, maybe 50 kilometers down a dirt road. Beautiful hiking location, and it's actually a really popular spot for people to go. We actually ended up camping next to a cove that we were going to go to next, which we'll talk about here, but we stayed right there and walked to the beach. I mean, it was really remarkable here. Well, then we went to Raft Cove. So the next day we left and we went to Raft Cove here in this video, and Raft Cove is beautiful. I mean, very, very beautiful spot, but the trail was pretty treacherous. Let's just say Dawn wanted to stop many times. She wasn't having fun. I understand why she wasn't having fun, but beautiful to go out there. But then we went to Roning's Garden, and I can't even tell you what this is about. You'd have to go watch the video. But let's just say botanical garden in the middle of nowhere. It's amazing. As we left that area, I've mapped out a bunch of spots that they have so much free camping in Canada, and I found this spot on a map, and I just said, let's just check it out. And I have to say, there's so much free camping there, but this was just stunning. I'd go back there again and again and again and just stay right there. We also did a little whale watching on the trip, so we ended up staying in Campbell River. And we were bouncing back and forth between Campbell River and a bunch of different lakes down these logging roads. Once again, there's so much recreating in Canada. We stayed, I think, 2 or 3 different lakes. There's several videos that you'll see us on different lakes that we were at. This is just one of the lakes that we stayed on. We would move to, the next day and stay on a different lake. I mentioned we got into backpacking, right? Well, us knuckleheads, we bought all the gear, but we didn't know what we're doing. So we thought it'd be fun to do a new person's review of the gear, from someone that doesn't know anything. Now our adventures begin. So we took the Alucab on the Washington BDR Section 1. We started in Section 1 and 2. We ended up here. I did a lot of kayaking on that, or paddleboarding over here. Beautiful section. Section 1's pretty tame, actually really tame. Anyone can do it. Section 2, a different critter. So here we are in Section 2. This was towards the end of it, but this is where you actually started to earn your pinstripes and a lot of bruises. Let's just say you'll have to go back and watch, but yeah, right here there was some trail damage that happened. That trail damage has since been fixed. However, I did break my window in my van. It's another story, but look where we stayed out here. Like, this is beautiful, and we do a ton of recreating on this area, but stunning. I highly recommend you go back and watch that video, because it was awesome. And then the infamous video. So the year was going along, and we went on this meetup, and this is the meetup that got us kicked out of a local Facebook group, a Sprinter Facebook group. And I'll talk about that a little bit more here later, but I don't want to dwell on that. Here we were out, they took the kids out. We were doing some fun out on another river out west, and you can see fire back there. So we thought we were going to have to evacuate. A lot of cute stuff happened in this video. Paige caught her first fish, and you have to go back and watch it to understand how cool it was. And obviously the fire is pretty neat to see too. And here we are taking that backpacking trip that we had all that equipment to the Enchanted Valley. It's a beautiful spot. I might have overdid it with how much I had in the backpack and stuff, but look at that cabin. I mean, just beautiful. And I got skunked on wildlife, which is kind of hard, but had a great time. We ended up staying at the ocean afterwards. There we are taking a shower. I'm out by the ocean, and funny story is I had to go all the way back out there because I left my camera there. Here I'm doing a review of van-made gear nightstands. You've seen this when I first intro. These are great nightstands if you have a van. And then I'm also doing a review on why I sold my GLSS system from Canyon Adventure Van. A lot of you watched that, and you can see I've upgraded from another product from Canyon Adventure Van. Lots of details in those videos on why I did it, why that might be right for you. My brother-in-law, fun stuff. Is a van right for you? My brother-in-law got a van. This is us going down to get the van for him, and so we did a little question and answer afterwards of this video, like to talk about what was new and unexpected for him from someone that didn't know. And here we are. So we start talking about why we got kicked out of the Facebook group on this, and here we are scouting. So the backstory here is we're getting ready to go out and have our own Sprinter meetup, which you'll see here in a second. So we're pre-scouting some spots to go, and as we're going through these pre-scoutings, I'm remembering the why, what our intention was. And so now we're telling you why we got kicked out of that Facebook group. And why we shared it now is because it was already public knowledge to everyone else. We don't tell you the names still. But here, this is when it started to get cool. So we do have a new private Sprinter group, or van group right now. We had our first meetup, free, just hanging out. We were showing them some of our spots. This is a beautiful spot that I've gone to before in different zones of it. Like I said, most of this stuff is out west in this video, or in this series this year, but really nice. Door organizer. So this is an indoor closet for the vans. Any van can use this. Game changer, gang. I can't say enough about it. It's a simple model, but great. And here's Dawn. You can kind of hear her. Can the girls do it on their own? Well, they took their first trip out, and here they are kind of figuring out the ropes of things. So that kind of does it, the year in review. And like I said, a lot going on there. So much when I started to put this together, I'm like, wow, we did a lot, you know, good job us. So what's next for us? Well, that's a good question. A couple things here in no particular order or importance. Well, I guess this first one would probably be the most important right now. The oldest daughter is pregnant. She is due any time right now. So I think right now she's 37 weeks. So obviously we're right now just waiting for the new baby to come, and we just have to be flexible based off that schedule. So we don't have any major plans there right now. However, this is the season for hitting the hills. So we're taking the van out this week. We're heading to White Pass. Snow conditions look like crap. Doesn't matter. We're going to go out there and have fun for a bit. We head back to White Pass later in January again for a longer trip. This time we're doing a mixed event. A lot of parties out there. We'll talk about those in the videos as we get to them. I know we're going to Whistler again for a week in February. We have a graduation happening, and then we have to start thinking about some specific trips. And I'm trying to find the right model here. We're taking the youngest daughter for her senior trip, so we do plan on doing that in the spring. But outside of that, I'm trying to get some work-life balance between work and the van or the truck and being able to work on the road. So we're thinking possibly some of like the national parks or the common areas that people like to go, but in the spring before they get busy. I really don't like I have a van for a reason. I don't like to get around people too much. I'd rather be out away from people. So if I can go see some of those really cool sites when they're not so popular, it would be awesome. The problem for me is that we're on the very far side of Washington State. So it is a large effort to get anywhere into the Midwest or South. We're at the top north. It's a commitment. So for me, I need to try to find the right balance for that as we go. As we get into the summer, obviously we're going to start widening our adventures. We have some fun stuff with my son I hope he's going to do here soon, but we have to get back on the BDR. So section 3, 4, maybe 5 and 6. We're not quite sure how we fit those in. I have some thoughts for summertime, but I would love to hear anyone else's thoughts for different summer times. We're definitely going to be starting doing some meetups with different van groups, and then we start getting to the fall months, and we haven't even got that far yet. But if you want to see any of that, or if you're just curious what we do, please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, gang, I hope we see you on the trails.